as an international IT student, it couldn't be anything better than getting job in AWS, getting good pay, and that help you to get the PR as well. So I want you to share your journey,
Yeah.
and then anybody who wants to follow that, they can follow as well.
So if you don't have that skill,
And
you are
then
just
you don't have a PR,
you
that
don't
is,
have the
you don't want to
PR,
be
that's,
that place.
you don't want to be in that place.
Hey guys, welcome to the another episode of The Diary of a Developer. As you know, we bring the software engineers to share software engineers' experience so that you guys can listen the experience from developers and then learn from them. So today our guest is Dinesh, who has been in the tech industry from last 8 years. And last 4 years he has been working in Sydney in AWS. And as you know, guys, AWS is amazing company to work, and we're gonna learn all about him, how he built his career in tech industry, especially how did he get into the AWS and all the advantage he has received since he is in AWS, in especially the cloud computing and also the developer role. So let's hear from him. So, okay, Dinesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Premji.
No worries. Can you introduce yourself
Yeah,
in
of
better
course.
way?
Yeah. So I'm from Nepal, as you all know. Um, so I started my career back in 2017, I would say, and I joined as an IT back in Nepal, worked there for 10 months, and came here in Australia to study my masters. Did my masters, and then joined AWS. And yeah, and I'm married, and one of my inspiration is my wife. So I manifested this joining AWS back in 17. So when me and my wife were traveling in a bus, so I was kind of like talking with my wife, like I want to join AWS, and we just manifested there, and it all happened. Like it paved my path to AWS. I think.
Wow, that's so like powerful.
Yeah.
You kind of basically demand universe. Hey, I want to work in a AWS, and which manifested. And then
Yeah.
I really admire that
Yeah.
you get inspired and supported from your wife. She
Yeah.
must be lucky one.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back. Why did you choose tech first?
So I was really good at mobiles. I mean, like, if you guys remember, if you are from 90s, so we used to have that N70 Nokia where you used to play games all the time. And I think the internet, it was kind of like when we were kind of like configuring the internet back in that time
Dial-up
through the phone,
internet.
dial-up internet. It was so complicated, and when you were able to configure that, and you would be able to go to the internet, download some music, MP3. It was so enjoyable, and I think that pushed me to join IT. And when I completed my plus two, and then moved to Kathmandu for my eye surgery. Then back in that time, like I went to Islington College for just for checking like how the IT. I mean, what's IT basically?
Yeah.
Just to understand what's IT. So one of my friend was also going to study there, but he didn't do that. But so yeah, at that time, then I realized, okay, I think it's a good choice for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. And then, yeah, I can resonate with you
Yeah.
too, because like when we start in the basically studying university,
Yeah.
we just say IT, and then now we realize that IT is just the
Thing. It's a
thing.
big word.
It's like IT is a
Yeah.
huge world,
Yeah.
and it's like, where do you want to go to visit? You say,
Yeah.
I want to go to visit in the earth. It's not the earth. We have probably our country,
Country.
and then the
Yeah.
state or
Yeah.
even town. Yeah,
Indeed.
ID is
Yeah.
like this. So when I now before like I used to think like as you said at the beginning, when I say I want to work in the IT, I said I have not clear vision.
Yeah.
And then now
Yeah.
from IT, and then now we realize that okay, wow, there's so much things. I always encourage people, if they say instead of IT, if they say at least a department
Yeah.
or even be specific
Specific
role,
role, yeah.
so that will help you to manifest like
Yeah.
you have done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And what like anybody in your family member who is in the tech?
Not really. I'm the only one.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay,
it's
the hardworking
yeah.
person. So let's dive into your journey from the day one you started writing your first configuration to the first line of code to maybe messing up with first hardware, whatever you have been doing it. Can you walk me through? I want to know all the story about
Yeah,
your
of
journey.
course, of course. So when I was doing my master's, in bachelor's 2013, so I joined Islington College. So I was doing my bachelor's in information technology, and my major was networking, so computer networking. So back, and I think it's really good college, Islington College. So the course structure how it used to be. So one day you would get the lectures. Next day you would get the practical knowledge. So you could literally configure the switches and work with packet tracer and all that. So we used to do that. So but at that time, because we were very new, IT was very new to me at that time. So it was kind of like going through my head. So
It happens to most of us.
I couldn't literally, I couldn't grab anything about computer networking at that time. So when I finished my bachelor's, so I joined what was the ISP, so Whirlink. So I
Oh,
joined
okay.
Whirlink as a support engineer, so customer support engineer. I think it's called customer support representative.
Oh, okay.
And then that time, it was more kind of like
Customer service.
customer service. So internet didn't used to work for people, so we used to
It's just like a
reboot.
basic
Yeah,
helping
basic
setup.
helping
There's not
setup.
much
Not much
technology.
technology. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, after 5 months, I got a job offer from. So because I was really good at subnetting, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I did a test I got interviewed in Premison Private Limited, which used to be in Lazimpath. I think it's still there. So went there, did the interview, and there were some I think 2 or 3 people who were from Singapore and Malaysia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I think they were from originally they are from China, I reckon, but I'm not completely sure. So they took an interview, and that time I was able to do that, and I think they hired me. But I didn't have any idea how to configure a
Okay.
switch or a router, and then I think that's the time. And there was a colleague, admired him, and then, but I literally didn't have any idea how to learn that. So we used to have night shift. So when I
Okay.
started to do night shift, so I started because the company was very new. So
Okay.
company was new and they were building I was really fortunate to see a company, I mean, where they were building the racks
Ah,
and doing the
okay.
setup and then
The
build
server setups.
server setup. So even I used to patch the holes like for the plugs.
Ah,
So
okay.
it
So
was
you
really
like basically
basically
made your hand
made your
dirty
hand
from
dirty
like a
from the very
very zero
scratch.
level.
Yeah, very zero
Yeah,
level.
that's really lucky to be
So
working like that. You know, you get to
yeah,
learn
so I was
so much.
fortunate enough to go through those phases and then learn those things from very scratch and then started. We used to have a room where IT room, and we had like public IPs bought from, I think, bunch of public IPs which were not used already.
Oh,
So
okay.
I had the public IPs, so I could like talk to the internet, build my own network.
And
So
then create your own
create our
server,
own server,
configure to
and
the
it
IP
was
to
so much fun.
expose to
Yeah,
the
so
internet.
that's
Yeah.
how I exposed to the to internet, and then learned doing my hands dirty,
Ah,
and
okay.
yeah, so it was so much fun over
Oh,
there. So
that was so much like
yeah,
a learning way.
yeah.
So looking at then and looking into now, how do you find yourself networking landscape moving, especially all the cloud computing? Which
I
of course you are in
yeah
the cloud computing now. We're gonna go there,
yeah.
but just since we talk about this little bit networking, anybody who is listening to the networking,
I think in terms of networking, basic things really matters. Like your fundamental have to be very strong. So that's one of the reason I kind of like failed in AWS as well for 3 times.
so let's go to your journey to AWS. How did you get in the AWS?
Okay.
And what was the challenges yourself learning, failing multiple interviews, and how did you overcome? How did you learn? Tell me everything so that people can try to follow that and then
Yeah.
take all the benefit that you receive from AWS.
Sure, so let me dissect that. So it all started like we all know all came to Australia as a student. So
True.
it's struggle. I mean, every student goes through a struggle, and I really appreciate. I mean, admire people who come as a student and grab. I mean, like they work really hard and get their dream job in IT or whatever they feel they want to, I mean, join. So it's like, so back in 2017, I came here in Australia to do my masters, and then for a year I did nothing. It's kind of like I was wasting just my time doing my masters, and there was a time when it hit me. So it's like my life was not going anywhere. Like it's like I did my IT. I was doing an IT job back in Nepal. Came here. I had no idea how to go in, and I used to apply a lot. I mean, I never stopped applying for an IT job
It's but not
through
going
LinkedIn.
anything, right?
But it was doing nothing. I mean, it was going nowhere. So I was
Exactly.
like, it's not happening.
So still, there's a lot of students, especially studying IT. We have concept that after studying IT, we should get the job.
No,
And then we
yeah.
keep applying. So
Yeah.
what we suggest always is that, guys,
Yeah.
if you are not ready for the industry with the skills, utilize that time that
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
applying to
Yeah.
gain the skill.
Exactly.
And then get that, maybe that will give you a
Yeah,
job faster
yeah,
than
yeah.
applying thousands on
Yeah, yeah.
job. And then what happens, you're gonna see, okay, I applied thousands role, I did not get it, and then get the
Yeah.
frustration.
Yeah, yeah,
Please
indeed.
don't do that.
You get that. You get that. You
Yeah.
get that frustration.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell me, and then you didn't hear anything from the
Yeah, so I didn't
application.
hear anything from any companies, and then so I kind of like thought it's not working that way. So what I did is I started looking at the job descriptions. So when I started looking at job descriptions and then started reading each lines, like what do they really ask, like, so I started making note of all of them, like
Awesome.
basic networking skills. So I started making note. So what does basic networking really cover? So I started doing that. So there, that's how where I started learning. Oh, okay. So DSCP, DNS, TCP, 316. I have to know by heart. Like so, that's where I kind of like started to write it down.
So basically, you created your learning
Yeah,
path.
I
So
learned. Yeah,
so the
exactly.
message here is that create your learning path,
Yeah.
path,
Yeah.
or reach out somebody who is
Yeah,
already
yeah,
there.
indeed, yeah,
I think
indeed.
that would have saved you
Yeah,
more time.
exactly, exactly. If you can reach out someone else who are kind of like ahead of you,
Yeah.
and then you can learn from them. It's I mean they can guide you.
Find the
So
mentor, basically.
find the mentor basically. So yeah, find the right people. I mean, and that's what happened. So I started planning and then doing my started noting it down, and then after a year, and what I did is like for for this sorry
That's okay.
for this job which I was doing before, like operations engineer. So I got it in I was interviewed like I think I was interviewed after my bachelor's. No, when I was doing my master's. So
Oh, okay.
so when I was doing my master's, when I was about to complete, it was like 6 months left for completing my master's.
Okay, you
Then
are still in the student visa.
I was still in student visa, and I got interviewed, and there was a phone interview from AWS from my previous team, and so it was an intense 1 hour phone interview, and I couldn't even answer a single questions.
Because
He
you
asked me,
did
it was
not
really
know
technical.
what to- you did
Yeah,
not
I
know what
didn't
to
know
ask.
what to answer. I mean, like literally, I didn't know. So I had the good
Okay.
CV because I kind of like looked at the job descriptions and start putting those things
Keywords.
in my CV as well. So it made sense. It matched with the JDs, so job descriptions. So I mean, the CV passed, but it's kind of like the CV passed, but now I'm in this stage, which I can't. I mean, I'm not able to
Able to.
pass. Like, so
Because lack of
lack of
technical knowledge.
technical knowledge. So I started studying, started creating PMware, and then configuring like routers and switches virtually, like and then
So you use the AWS account to do
yeah.
that?
Yeah, and started doing my AWS certification as well because that
That
time,
helps.
yeah, that helps as well. It kind of like expands your thinking. So what, I mean, how the world is going. Like I didn't know about DevOps, so when I started doing AWS certification, so now at that time I learned about DevOps. What is DevOps? I mean, what's the concept about DevOps? So that time, so doing that thing, I mean, AWS certification also helped me. But I think when I was doing AWS certification, I really did by memorizing it, not like by
By
learning the
practicing.
practicing, but like memorizing the questions.
Yeah.
So I did that for like 4 times, and I passed in fourth time.
Oh wow, you
AWS.
have a good
So
memory. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I passed that way, but it when I started my job, it didn't help because I didn't have practical knowledge. I didn't have skills for that AWS thing. I just memorized it, so I could pass. But when I started doing, when I joined my on AWS, then it kind of like I started learning
Oh,
the
okay.
things of AWS. But let's take you back to the where I was doing the preparation. So when I was doing my preparations, so I was kind of like developing my skills. So looking at job descriptions of cloud engineer, system engineer, and there you will see everywhere they will ask for basic networking, good in Linux system administration, and I started learning system admin as well. So I kind of like um, bought the Udemy course. I think it was Red Hat's RSCSA or something. Red Hat
Okay.
certified system admin, something. So I started studying that as well. I think I studied that for 3 or 4 times. I think I repeated that.
That's the
It's
key. That's
like
what I
I
always
had
suggested.
to get that. I mean, I didn't know how it. So I was like, I can use Linux, but I can't troubleshoot. How will it help me, and how can I learn Linux in a way that it will help me in my job?
Exactly.
So I started learning in that way. So like more kind of like basic how Linux troubleshooting works. So that's the most important question I think everyone will ask if they are technical and if you are going for a system
System
admin
administration role.
or
Yeah.
cloud engineer role and you are going for Linux background, then they will ask you like how boot process work even for Windows and Linux. They will ask you, and then about file systems like if you have like something like and they will more ask you kind of um, a performance issue. So how would you go with a performance issue where your memory, where you are running out of memory? So it's like OEM kill. You are getting OEM kill. How do you go with that? So they will ask you. I mean, it's a so and I was like, how do I answer those questions? So to answer those, it's like you have to be methodological. It's like go one step, go behind. I mean, start from there, go backward.
So, or reverse engineer
Reverse engineer,
basically.
yeah, go back. So reverse engineer it, like how do you there are lots of commands in Linux, right? Like that you can use to like see the memory. I mean, if you are not able to if you are getting OEM kill, so how do you go with the in the kernel you will get the error, right? So how do you go back and look at that? Okay, how would I solve this? What's happening? So you have to know that. It's like you have to be very methodological, and if you are doing cloud engineer role or system admin role, looking for system admin role, and troubleshooting is the key. So you have to, should be able to use Linux commands or Windows commands to look at those processes or to what's occupying the what process is occupying the memory, something like that. So that's how you could like identify it. And so okay, you were able to identify it. How would I kill it, and how would
Exactly.
I
So
stop?
there's a, first you make a, let's say you have a problem.
Yeah,
The process of troubleshooting
troubleshooting
is
is
that
this.
first figure out what
Yeah,
happened
exactly.
and then reverse engineer and
Exactly.
put step by step process
Exactly,
to
and
follow through.
I used to do that, and I used to make a note of it. So because that's how, because it's an open book question. I mean, open book interview. So when you do interview like in AWS, it's always open book.
Okay.
So it's like you can do a search or you can make a note of it. Even my interviewer, I mean my the hiring manager, she said make a note of whatever you do, whatever troubleshooting step you do, make a note of it, then answer. So take your time, take a deep breath, then answer. So the kind of like I was like able to, I made note of it and how to go with it, and then try
Solve
to
it,
answer.
solve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Okay. So
helped.
yeah, that's when you get the job
Yeah.
or
Before
towards the job.
to
Now let's
answer.
go back. Share your learning journey. How what was your learning methodology? How much time would you spend it? How did you find those time, especially working as a student
Yeah.
here? I mean, studying and in the university and working. So that's the hard part to
Yeah,
manage.
yeah, I
So
did indeed.
I want to know more
Manage.
about that.
So Uh, it's like it's tough. I mean, you have to make an extra effort, and if you are in your comfort zone, it's not gonna happen anyway.
No,
So you
never.
have to go out of your comfort zone. So it's like when I was doing my master's, so and when I was preparing for these roles, so it's like I used to go to so I used to work in a cafe, so Carlos Cafe. It's in DY. So I used to wake up at like 5 or 6 to open the
Okay.
shop, and I was working as a juicer. So I used to make juice and then smoothies, and at that time, so yeah, I used to open it 5 or 6, go to the shop, work until 6, then go to the gym, because gym is one of my motivating factor as well. I mean, that motivated me as well. And uh, so at that time, go to the gym, then go back home, and then take a shower, and then cook food, eat food. Then until that, I think it used to be 10.
Oh, okay.
So
So
10 and
you are occupied from 5 a.m. to
10,
10 p.m.
yeah.
just for the
Yeah.
work and then travel.
Child, yeah. So that was my life. Then after 10, that was my study period. So it's
That's where
like
your career
yeah, that's
evolved.
where your career evolves. So
Yeah, you
that's
had an option saying, I'm tired, I wanna just sleep.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Or I wanna watch a movie, get some,
That's yeah.
I am working whole day hard, now I deserve watching TV. You could have said that
Yeah, yeah,
too.
exactly. Even if you wanna, and you really wanna have a, if you have a girlfriend or someone,
Yeah.
so you really need to have a good
Spend
partner.
time
So
with the partner as well.
my partner really, I mean, helped me. She was
Supportive.
really supportive. So she used to, because we kind of like we go long way back in 2012 and 13. So
Oh, okay.
it's like we had a very ups and downs. So
Okay,
I mean, she knows.
together.
So she knew. So used to support. I mean, she supported me a lot. And
Mm.
that time, and then I used to talk with her, and then after that, I started. I mean, I used to kind of like plan like once after finishing that, I will do my preparation. So I used to do the preparation until 6. So my goal was to not sleep for more than 6 hours. So
Okay. Oh, I still have like my goal. My goal is to get to up to 6 hours sleep, which I have not managed to do that yet. Okay. Hopefully one day.
okay, let's continue. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that was my goal, like not to sleep more than 6 hours. So
Mm-hmm.
look, so I used to study until so 2 hours was for my study time for my IT career thing, and then after that go to sleep at 12 and wake up again at 5 6. So it's like 5 or 6 hours, so kind of, and then go back and repeat. So it's like the cycle repeated, like, and it's
But
not
the
like
knowledge is accumulated.
accumulating. Yeah. So it's like, and the gym is one motivating factor, because it's like you don't build your muscles in one day. It
Exactly.
has to be consistent, and
And
that kept in my mind. I mean, I kept that in my mind. It's like I have to be consistent with this so that I can. I mean, knowledge will accumulate, just like muscles will kind of
accumulate
like
over the time.
accumulate
Yeah.
over time, and it's like kept on motivating me. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I mean, after certain time, so I had good skills, and then I was able to kind of like, so even that, I had kind of like 6 or 7 interviews where I failed, and then after 7 interviews, I think I kind
You
of like
passed it.
passed it, yeah. And I think I was lucky enough as well, because the same and I really want to thank her as well. I think she's Shara, and she's, I think, in Commonwealth Bank. So right now
Okay.
she was a hiring manager, and she kind of like called me back after 6 months and
Wow. Okay.
asked me if you want to go for an interview.
Oh
And I was
yeah,
like,
that's
of
okay.
course, I would love to. And then
That's
went
lucky.
for the interview, and I think I got lucky there.
I mean, she would have seen some
Yeah,
potential on
some,
you.
yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, if you have just gone there and then mess
Yeah,
up with the interview, you have no idea what you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about, or she didn't see any like potential, she would have never called you.
Exactly,
That means
exactly.
whatever you have done it from before
Before.
was you're at least on the right
Yeah,
direction.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Uh,
that's why I thought that's what she thought, and then called me back, and then went for the phone call, which was 1 hour interview, and it's really technical. I mean, AWS interviews, first interview are really technical. So
okay.
if you are going for a cloud engineer role or
System ad.
system or
SRE, probably,
SRE,
yeah.
I think so. SRE is kind of like SRE, system development engineer. It's kind of like
Combine,
combined.
overlaps,
It's like
yeah.
you have to be
Even now, developer
even now,
have to know that.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
part of
So
the
it's
development
like
too.
I'm system development engineer, but I have to be sometime SRE, sometime developer.
So
So
DevOps.
I build websites. Sometime I do backend.
Yeah.
So sometime I kind of like look at my pipelines. Why this pipeline is not green and
Yeah.
why this stage is not green. So we kind of like troubleshoot. Right? It's kind of like
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it.
Now, which you are on the development,
Yeah,
which you're gonna, of course, talk about
yeah,
that
yeah,
more in detail.
yeah.
So, I'll just quickly kind of summarize what you have said here is the reason that you are today is first your motivation
Yeah,
factor.
yeah.
That means anybody who wants to build a career in tech, not only tech, I think it's
Yeah,
in
it's
every career
everybody.
field, you need the skills because this is a skills
Yeah.
job, right? So, and then skills you cannot gain in
Okay.
one
One day.
day.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
like a, like we call
We
it
ca-
a brushing principle.
Yeah.
We don't brush like a 1 or 2 hours only Saturday,
Yeah, yeah,
we do brush
indeed.
2 minutes every day. Something
Yes.
you did 2 hours of practice every day and then took around 6 7 months at least just to gain some level of skills
Yeah.
enough to pass that interview,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And then you wouldn't have done that if you had not gone to gym to understand
Yeah, yeah.
building muscle
Muscles.
takes time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that is one important thing. And other important thing, I think I have not, I always wanted to say this, what I haven't said anyway. If you have a partner and family, that is part of the decision making
Yeah.
in the day-to-day life.
Indeed. Yeah.
That means I think your partner have 50%
Yeah.
influence on whether you will succeed in the
Exactly,
career or not.
exactly.
Hey guys, if
100%.
you are one of the partner
Yeah.
who is, let's say, partner of the IT students or who is planning to build a career in IT, I think 50% pressure on you guys. So now you need to kick your partner's butts so that they are keep focusing on one thing and let alone
Yeah.
distracting them. And then at the end, if one partner becomes successful in the career, that is always going to help another
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
financially,
Yeah.
time freedom,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, this is what I wanted to always say, but I think I never said it before. Yeah, and I see here a lot of our students as well, and they say the partner push them through.
Yeah.
They come up with like very little confidence
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
indeed,
could
indeed.
become
Yeah.
a engineer,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
their partner say, "Look, you can do it. You have to do it."
Same thing happened to me. I mean, if I say, so in my life, I have never got anything easily. Like in one go, I never get anything. So
Neither
it's
I did.
like you do 2 or 3 times. I have to go, I have to fail to get that. I have to fail.
Yeah, it's like me. Let's say, I think God has given me this bless that you do hard work, you'll get
Yeah,
anything. But
yeah,
I'm
indeed.
not giving you anything
Yeah, you
on
have to
your
get
hand.
that. Yeah. So
I
my
always find
wife
myself
and
that as
so
well.
back in the days, like even my license back in Nepal, bike license, I didn't get in one go. So
Okay.
so my girlfriend, my wife, when she was to my girlfriend, and she kind of like pushed me like, you can do it. Like it's like you never even you haven't got me at once, so you have to try it again. Like it's like you have to try once again and again. It's like
Yeah, true.
seriously pushing
But
me. So it's like
basically, if
basically.
you want something or if you need something, which is even more strong reason, and keep doing until you get it
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
You just every fail is next to close to
Yeah.
like your goal, right?
Yeah.
And another factor you say is that the reason why you wanna do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Before
exactly. It's very important. Like,
why you are doing
why
it.
are you doing? Like,
Exactly.
why are you doing? Like, it's like, what is it for? Like, for me, it was like, I want to give my wife better life in Australia.
True.
That's one motivating factor. It
Exactly.
was for me because I have to, because I don't want to give her this life which I'm going through right now. So it's like you have to think, I mean, what it's for.
Exactly.
So
So that's
that's one
why
thing.
it's always matter. I
Exactly.
always say student like, why you even doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it just because somebody else working in the industry and making good money? You're not gonna make through.
Exactly.
If you make through, you're gonna regret in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
That's why I say many students like when we do the consultation, we see like we wanna know what do you wanna do, why you
Yeah.
wanna do this,
Indeed.
and then they say no, we don't know. Okay, let me help you understand. So these are the let's say things you will have in the future if you go this path. Is this something you want? Or if that's not the case, go find someone who is already on that level,
Yep.
working for 3 to 5 years. Look their history, talk to them and see if this is what you want to become and why they have done it. And then see if this is something you're looking for as well.
Yeah.
If you find the a reason why you wanna do anything, you can achieve more faster. Basically, that will help you from breaking down
Yep.
when you are in the
Indeed.
low
Yep.
point.
Yep.
That's a very strong reason for you, and
Yeah.
then it really
Yeah,
worked
it
out,
worked
and
really
I'm
well
really
for me.
happy for
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
now let's go ahead back in your role. So now currently you have moved to developer role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go and then oh yeah, let's start from the developer role. So yeah, tell me about your current switch from the more like a cloud engineer to the
Yeah.
software developer role.
Yeah.
So tell me about it.
Yep. So if I talk about like cloud engineer, it's like support, right? So it's like I was as operations engineer. So I back in I'm talking about what I was doing before and what I'm doing now. So it's like back then I was like more kind of like putting water in the fire. It's like
If there is a fire and then you are just
yeah, you have
putting water to
to
close the fire
close the
down.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like very rush. I mean, it was rush, and because we used to have take care of incidents alerts, which are crucial. I mean, alerts are kind of like if you think in a ITL kind of like what a methodology or what a framework, whatever you call. I have no idea about that, but it's kind of like you have an alert. Alert is a symptom for incident, right? So alert goes bad, incident will happen.
Yeah.
You gotta prevent that. So to prevent that or to take care of that incident, you have to be really kind of like do click, 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 and then it's like you have to be able to troubleshoot really fast so that you can save, because that's causing money, right?
Yeah. Every second
Every
not
second
working
costs
is
money,
losing
right? So
money.
it's like incident is causing money. So every second that going incident is going, so you are losing money. So as an operations engineer or cloud engineer, because we had customers, we are managed service providers. So in AWS, so we have customers like, I mean, I can't open that, but so we used to take care of the incident. So that was like more kind of like troubleshooting. I mean, like system admin thing or system engineer thing, and so system engineer, a bit of system engineer, because sometimes we used to build automation as well. So to automate that processes or automate the incident management process or alert management process or change management process. So we used to do that as well. So that was previously, but now since I moved to system development engineer role, so now it's more kind of like automating the processes. Like you have to, if there is a, for example, if there is a change management system, to automate that, like we kind of like sometimes build dashboards. Sometimes we take a process and pick that process and how can we automate it so that
Yeah,
we
so-
don't require an engineer to do that. For
Exactly.
example, sending an outbound or sending a correspondence to a customer. It could be a simple.
Basically, you are replacing half of your own work
Yeah,
that you used to
half
do
of
now.
my own work. It's like I received an alert, so and I have a SLA for like replying that in like 30 minutes. So if I,
With
so it's not
automation.
like always there will be an engineer to reply, right? So to save that time or to save that process, we could just simply say, and to meet that SLA, we could simply like automate that or like sending a correspondence like, hey, we are looking into your alerts and we will assign an engineer and our engineer will reply you back. So something like that. So that kind of thing, automations we build in system development engineer role right now. So it's more kind of like even the change management. So a big part of managed services is like change management. So
Okay.
because it's more kind of like what you are offering, right, in managed services. So we also offer change management system for advanced customers. So we kind of like build automation on that, like.
Okay. So writing a lot of code now?
Yeah, it's like writing a lot of code. So it's kind of like front end as well. So because we kind of like keep operations engineers, and so our customer basically is operations engineer,
Yeah.
cloud architects, and system development engineers. So sorry, system development managers. So we kind of like give them dashboard
So
as per
basically,
their.
you build the tool
We build the
so that
tool
they
so that
can
they
use
can
it.
use it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like
So yeah, we call it like we have say operator versus developer.
Yeah.
operator who uses UI to do the
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Developer builds
Build
that
the thing.
UI,
Yeah,
and that's a
exactly.
completely
Completely
different
different. Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
So yeah, based on your experience, like of course, every role have a benefit, pros and cons. So can you walk me through about that, and then what you are enjoying more?
Yeah, so back, I think 3 days back, one of my colleague asked, "Do you miss operations?"
Yeah,
Uh,
operation engineering role.
yeah, engineering role, and I was like, "Yeah, I do sometime, but not anymore."
Because development is
Because
more fun,
yeah,
right?
developing is more fun. I mean, I don't want to discuss any cloud engineers or
Yeah, of
whatsoever.
course. I
It's
mean, it's
like
a
it's
completely
completely
personal.
personal.
Yeah, we
It's
need
like
to
it's
be
your
clear, guys.
choice.
It's a
Yeah, it's
completely
completely personal.
personal
It's yeah,
opinion, right?
open.
But
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
just talking about your
yeah.
experience.
It's my experience. So, it's my experience. So I was doing cloud engineer for like 4 years, and I was kind of like, doing same thing for 4 years, and
Kind of getting
for
bored.
kind of creating board, and it was like for me to evolve. I mean, you can't be there and learn new things, right? So to I had to evolve. I mean, I had to evolve, and you can't learn new things without changing your role or whatever. So, kind of like changed my role from system engineer, system support engineer to dev, and then because I was kind of like intrigued as well by looking at the system engineering. I mean, system engineers, like the work they do and how, I mean, it kind of like there was a project which I did in when I was support engineer or cloud operations engineer. So the project was, I mean, I think I can talk about that project. It's
Public.
public, so it's like everyone can do that. So if you guys know about the tool called, I think. I just forget the tool. It's in Python. So basically what I did is we had a CLI, so a command line. So command line will have a CLI will have different commands, right? So the command was built on DocuPT, so
Okay.
command line interface. DocuPT is basically Python library which you can use to build a
Interactive command line tool. Yeah.
command line tool. So there was it exists still, but that tool had, and that build system it was using, it was there was a, I think it generates doc, so document. So what it does is, I think I forget that library name, but that library, what it does is in Python, when you build it, it basically generates documentation. So it generates HTML, it takes source as a markdown or RST or RST file extensions, and then with those markdowns it would generate HTML files. And HTML files, you can use it as a, I mean, you can store it, you can put it in the S3 bucket, and
And serve it to
you
public.
can serve it to public.
Okay. Yeah.
So that
Yes.
tool, I mean, the build system was there, but it was not being utilized. So what I did, build in that build system, I basically wrote a script in Python. What it used to do, it used to take the doc string, which were in the doc. So DocuPT uses the doc strings to kind of like generate the help commands or those things. So DocuPT does that. So kind of like parse those doc strings, and then using those doc string, I put them in a AMD file. I used to create the AMD file and RST file. So
Okay.
I used a RST file as a source. So put them in a RST file, and RST has its own kind of like thing. I mean, what do you call it? A way of doing things. Like for example,
Process, you
in
mean?
process. I mean, for Markdown, if you wanna make a bullet point, so you
Yeah,
do
yeah, the
do the
dash,
dash,
slash, or
something like
star,
that,
or
right?
yeah.
So, but that thing in if you look at in HTML, what it is UL,
Yeah.
LI, right? So
Yeah.
that's
So
what
template, you said.
template,
Yeah,
yeah,
template or the
yeah,
elements.
template, yeah.
Yeah.
So template, I used to create template out of those doc string, put in a docs, put in a create a files for the source for the tool to utilize it and generate HTML files. So that I did, and then it went through the pipeline, and through the pipeline, in pipeline it used to build, and after building it, it used to puts in the S3 bucket, and then serves through the CDN, and then
Okay.
so that was a simple thing, and I mean, it's a system engineering, or what do you call it? System engineering, and I mean, it's automation.
Yeah, yeah.
So I automated that. So I enjoyed that really.
Ah,
And
that's how you trigger into the
yeah,
development mode,
yeah.
right?
So that's where I triggered into development mode.
It's like
So
you see, it's
yeah,
amazing to see,
yeah.
you can build the things
Mm-hmm.
that literally does a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are the creator of that, that
And
realizing that makes you
yeah,
really
and fun
feel
thing
good.
is like, if you are able to build, I mean, generate HTML files, so that HTML is very useful. You can use it for training your model.
Mm,
You can use, so right now, I mean, everyone can do that. So it's
mm,
like they can train their own model and take that file as a source. I mean, that website as a source, right?
mm.
So that website came into the RAG, and that I mean, I have no idea about how it works, but what it does is like it's a source of truth for our engineers
Mm, mm,
to if we are building a chatbot.
mm-hmm.
So for our engineers, that website is a source now for that
Information they
chatbot
needed, yeah.
to consume, and that chatbot will give the information from that. So
Mm.
it's like you are making your own. I mean, you open a path, you do the groundwork, open a path for
Other to use
other
it.
tools to use.
So that's why sometimes, I mean, being developer has its own
Yeah,
challenge, of course, but sometimes you're really great to see, like
yeah,
you can literally
yeah.
solve a lot of
A
problem,
lot of, yeah.
and by building it,
Yeah.
just writing a bunch of line of
Yeah,
code
yep,
to make
yep,
it happen.
indeed.
So are you enjoying development so far?
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah, okay.
I'm loving it. So it's like sometimes it's very frustrating. Sometimes what happens is like I can't figure out a thing, and I have to, and I think I shouldn't do that, but I think most of the developers, senior developers also advise like if you are stuck somewhere, just leave it,
Go out
go out
and
and
then
take a
come
fresh
back,
air,
and then
come back,
solution
and
is already there
yeah,
in the
already
head.
there. So
And the
I
other
think,
thing is you can do is, if you cannot really fix or figure out the solution, start telling the problem to somebody else.
yeah,
When you start saying, hey, I'm having this
yeah,
problem and
yeah,
this do does,
happens, yeah.
and then on the process of
You
explaining
realize.
the problem, you realize, oh, hang on, I got the solution, let me go try it out.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
It
so
happens, yeah.
more
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. We kind of. That's why I think when I'm in the office, like we kind of like talk. We have. I mean, I talk with senior engineers as well.
Mm.
So we kind of like, you know what you are doing. So if you know what you are doing, then you have a problem, then you can solve it. So when you start talking, then you realize, okay, I have to break it down like this. So you kind of like understand the development, because you can't write all the code at the same time, right?
No.
There is a like
Process
process
T.
to it. So then you realize, okay, I have to validate this, then this, okay,
Mm.
then this, then this, okay,
Mm.
it validates. Okay, so if it's like a loop, so shall I just throw out the error first, or shall I check all then throw out the error? So
Conditions and then, yeah.
condition. So it's like when you talk, then while talking you get that idea. So
True.
yeah,
That's very good. Okay, yeah. Guys, we went to a little bit of technical stuff here. So yeah, some of you who are not in the role already probably maybe a little bit confusing, but now we'll go to non-technical from this point.
yep.
So yeah,
Sorry.
now so that they get
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that excites you
Yeah.
to become a role either in the cloud computing or developer. So yeah, which now he decided to move to developer, which is good for me, because now we can talk more about development. I mean, even the guys, if you are a developer and if you are working towards like becoming a senior lead developer, somehow you need to know all of them anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a good skill. So it will help you to carve your path all the way to
Yep,
the senior
indeed.
lead engineer to the maybe CTO
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
And of course there's a lot of other skill, team player and then team leading
Yep.
needed, but at least you are in that path,
Yep, yep.
which is good. So now let's go back and then your learning process, and then you see definitely you mentioned that you had a really hard time managing your time to learn, and then it took more time to actually accumulate enough skills, and also you had to go through many failures,
Yep.
right? And now if you could go back and then do whatever you wanted to become today, save your stress, time, and struggle, what would you do things differently?
I think, I mean, it's so first thing I want to emphasize, like, it's a process that you need to enjoy, because once you get there, you don't, I think it's more enjoyable. The process is more enjoyable. So you gotta enjoy that process. That's one thing, because struggle makes you more strong. So you gotta enjoy that. And then other thing, what I could do better if I go back, like it's because first thing, find someone, like find a mentor.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's
Find a
the
mentor.
entire reason why we even started
Yeah,
Mentor
so
Theory, no?
find a mentor, because that will help you. I mean, that will help you to save. I mean, path, make your path towards your career. So it will help you. Okay, so he is in this path. How did he go? So he will. I mean, the mentor will kind of like guide you. Okay, I did this. You can do this if you want to. But it's like, and other thing is like it has to come from you. I mean,
You need to find the reason
you
why.
have to find the reason, like you have to find the reason. And then yeah, I think if I had to, for example, if I had to be a developer right now, like back in the days, like if I had if I could start back in the day, definitely I will look for mentor and then start from there. And kind of like, because it's kind of like start programming, I mean, learn skills, so that any skill is the key. So if you do this skills and try to do more kind of like in a real world scenario, like try to solve
Practical.
problem practical way. So try to solve problem, even if it's for building just for taking a note. Do that. I mean, just do a to-do list or whatever, making an app which could do to-do list.
To
Because
start with, right?
to start with, and to go with that, like you will need programming, like I mean, you need to understand right code.
Yeah.
You start from there, because even I came back, I think 6 or 7 months back with Premji, and
Yeah.
I had a code.
Yeah, you ask about
I
that.
asked asked him about that.
Node,
So
yeah, I remember. So
yeah,
even before that
even
means,
before that,
yeah,
yeah,
before you even switch to the developer role,
Yeah.
even I mean, when you are working as a, I think the cloud
as a cloud
engineer,
engineer, yeah.
you are still practicing
Practicing,
programming
exactly.
from
Yeah,
long time.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that helped you to switch as well,
Indeed,
right?
indeed. That's right.
So yeah, I remember we
Yeah.
talking and then
So
having
it's
coffee on
like
that.
if you have to explore outside of what you are doing right now, so that you can go in your. I mean, so that you can switch. I mean, if I hadn't do that, so
Yeah.
I couldn't be able to switch this, right? So it's
True.
like I started there 6 or 7 months back, and then I had now then when I started that, so that's how understood, right, what is React.
Yeah.
So you might have seen my code, and you might have been like, "What the heck is
No,
what
I
this guy is
mean,
doing?"
look,
I mean, like
I have
it's like
seen better code, I have seen worse code. So
yeah. So it's like I was a cloud engineer, and then I started to learn about programming there, and then I mean I started to learn JavaScript there back
yeah.
then, React then, and then that helped me to switch right now, because once I did that, I had more opportunity over here to build something. I mean, help people. So think more kind of like you are helping someone by building that. So it has a purpose. The things you do has a purpose, and you are helping someone's life. So
True.
it's making someone's life easy. Because I used to be a cloud support engineer, and I always used to think like why it is like this, why it is not like this.
So
So
why it's
it's
not
like
a better way?
yeah. So why it's not a better way? So but to make it better, system engineers come into help. So I mean they comfort the ad. So I mean becoming that, then I started there, think ahead and plan for the
No, no.
future, and always don't what do you say, don't settle for less.
Yeah,
Yeah,
settle for more.
yeah,
That's good. So basically, if you could go back, you're saying
yeah.
definitely you wanna look for the mentor
Mentor,
first,
yeah,
and then you wanna find the reason why you wanna do it,
yeah,
and then don't settle for the less.
yeah.
Keep working
Keep
hard
working hard. Yeah,
until
yeah,
you get your goal.
yeah.
That's great. So let's go to this new, the hype of the AI thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially you work in AWS. So how much do you use AI? Where do you find yourself being replaced by AI? Tell me about it, because student have so much wrong perception about this.
Yeah.
Walk me through it.
Yeah, and before AI, we had like Stack Overflow. We all have. I mean, we all know we do Google search. We can't write
Of
everything.
course.
We don't. We can't. I mean, even we look at guides like EMD, and every time we look for some method, like let's say array method or whatever. So you do MDN, go there, look for examples, and write your code again. And utilize that, that method, and how you could utilize that and write your own code, like in your own process or whatever your use case is. So you do that, right? So it's kind of like same thing. You ask AI. So it's like AI is our tool. I mean, it's our, it's for it. It's it exists to help us, not to replace us. So it's
Okay.
like we made AI, so we are making AI better, but it's not gonna replace, because I mean, it can't think like a human. It's like it's still a program, right? Like
Yeah.
even if it can consume more data or whatsoever, but there will be still like use cases and challenges like which just human can think,
Exactly.
and human can only, I mean, utilize that. Even if you can provide it to the prompt, I mean, it's not gonna come as it is, like even if it's get better, but it's there will still be, I mean, software engineers or system development engineers who will be building things.
True.
Yeah,
And then we say it's not ready yet.
yeah,
So
it's not gonna
still we
replace
can
it.
say we are safe for a few
Yeah, exactly.
years, if not like
Yeah,
decades. Actually,
yeah,
I will say. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, guys, don't switch your plan just by listening.
Yeah,
Everybody,
I
just
think
understand
many
and
people
listen.
said that, like many students said, AI is gonna replace us. I'm like, do think, don't worry about what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just do what, I
What is
mean,
needed now,
needed
right?
now. Yeah,
Yeah. So and then get ready with the AI,
yeah.
not against with it.
I mean, everyone will evolve, right? Like
Exactly.
we all evolved. We
Mm.
all, I mean, from way back to the internet, like when it all
Started. Yeah.
started. So we
Mm.
all evolved. We all adapted.
To just sum up that, so guys, anybody who is planning to build a career and then say, especially in the software engineering, if they say AI will replace the job, think again
Yeah,
and find the
indeed.
correct source based on what's happening in
Yeah,
the industry, right?
yeah,
Okay, now let's go back to your work
yeah.
again. So all there are like for software developers, it's a dream to work in a FANG company,
Yeah.
where one of that FANG company is AWS, the A part.
Yeah.
So tell me about working in AWS, how it feels like working in AWS.
I'm really grateful that I got opportunity to join AWS, and it changed my life. So yeah, it's really fun. I mean, there are so much talented people over there, and you get your own time. I mean, it helps you balance your life. So it's more kind of like work-life balance, good pay, of
Of course,
course,
yeah.
and yeah, I think you get your
Freedom.
freedom. And then even in my previous role, so what it used to be is like 9 to 2. It used to be our core shift, and in a week, 2 days, you can take like 2 hours for your self development. So you could
Awesome.
like study. I mean, like I did. I used to study this React.
Hmm.
So I used to study JavaScript so that I could, I mean, transfer to or move to this role. So
Development role
which
that
I
you're
did
building.
eventually. So it's like it took me like 6 months or more than that. I think
Mm.
8 months or a year maybe. I think, and yeah, it gives you more freedom.
Hmm.
And I think you gotta work really hard to, because the bar are really high.
Hmm.
So you have to work really hard to meet those bars. And yeah, I think it's so much fun.
Yeah, so that means if you have a passion on
Mm.
the like a technology, you
Mm.
can learn it. If
Yep.
you learn hard, I mean, you must be hardworking,
Yeah, yeah,
of course, to
mm,
get there
yeah,
because everybody is fighting to work in
yeah, yeah.
AWS, right?
Mhm.
So now the benefit you have received from AWS, I heard before, it was amazing. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, indeed.
this gonna like definitely make all the international IT students' dream come true. So which is basically, I'll quickly tell what happened and then you can walk the whole
Yeah,
process.
yeah,
I think that's okay.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yeah,
So
sure.
basically, he worked, get the job in AWS, and then AWS actually after a few years of working, sponsored him, and that gave him permanent residency in Australia as
Yeah,
well. As an international IT student, it couldn't be anything better than getting job in AWS, getting good pay, and that help you to get the PR as well. So I want you to share what happened that journey,
yeah.
and then anybody who wants to follow that, they can follow as well. And if they need more information later on, they can reach out to us and see if we can help them as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, so uh, once I completed my masters, so back in that time, like, and I was in my breathing visa, so I applied for 485 TR, and I was in my breathing visa. That's the time when I got interviewed by AWS, and I think it was the third time from AWS for different roles, and for this role, I think it was the second time which I got interviewed. So, and I cracked the job. So after getting the job, and they were kind of like hesitant because I was in breathing visa, right? So everyone will get hesitant in breathing. But I mean, they trusted me, so I kind of like got the job, and I got that in, I think, 2019 November. And I
Okay.
had to start from November, December, January, and I had to start that job in February.
Okay. Is
So
that
yeah,
COVID time, I guess?
yeah, before COVID time.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
before.
before COVID time. So went back, got married, and because that was my dream, I want to
Okay.
marry my wife and
Yeah.
my
Back then,
girlfriend
girlfriend. Yeah.
once I get a good job, and
Yeah.
then which happened. I mean, because I manifested it, worked for it. Then yeah, I got the job and came back, and then after that I was, because I wasn't too sure about um, my what's my next visa would be, and I kind of like had a chat with some guys in Amazon as well, but kind of like I didn't get much information, like I mean, will it really be, will they really like kind of like sponsor me, and then I will go into 486 visa, sorry, yeah, 482 visa or not, and then that's why I joined my, what do you call it, professional
PY.
year,
PY.
PY, professional year. Did professional year for like 8 months, 6 or 7 months. Then after that we had to do the what do you call it, the placement,
Yeah. After at
and
the end of the professional year,
professional
you
year,
need to
yeah,
do that placement.
placement.
Yeah.
And I did my placement at Amazon and my,
So basically, you show your current work that you
yeah,
are doing in AWS,
yeah,
and you wanted to use that as a
as a
placement into
placement
the
money, yeah,
PY
yeah,
provider.
yeah, PY provider. But that's what I did, and yeah, I think my manager was also okay about it. And then after, when it was time to, on the placement end, it was time to kind of like give a feedback to
Report back to
report
PY.
back to PY, and that's where my manager was hesitant, because he didn't wanted my future to be in dark. I mean, like, he didn't want it to be uncertain about my visas as well,
Yeah,
because
at this point, because your future is not sure, you are
yeah,
just like every other
exactly,
IT student who is in the
exactly. That's what
TR.
he thought, and he was like, "Mate, you shouldn't do that." I mean, like, don't go through that path. What we will do, we will apply for you. We will apply for a two visa for you, and talk with HR, and they will, or immigration team, and they will help you. And then
Boom.
boom, that's where it started. I'm like 482, so I already had 10 months of experience back in Nepal as an IT. So I just needed two years in total in IT to apply for 482 visa. So it's
Okay.
like after 14 months in my current role, I mean before, which was cloud support engineer role, after 14 months and adding that 10 months, it was
Become
like
2 years
2
of
years.
experience.
So I was able to apply for it too. And it's like, it was so quick, like I got that in like 2 months. So
Wow.
within two
Okay.
months, I had 482, and per
482 is, can you explain
is
what is 482?
482 is like skill shortage visa. So you get that. So most of the companies, like FANG companies, they
They
give you
do.
probably
Yeah.
4 years of visa.
Yeah.
So you, in Australia, you get 4 years visa, um, if it's
You
applying
can.
for a good company.
Yeah.
But for other companies, short is, I think, 2 years. I think there is short term and long term, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's when, and I didn't have to pay a penny for that. Like, it's like,
Exactly. It's just your hard work paid off
yeah, it's
already.
like all my skills, all my hard work just paid off. And then now when I listen to other guys, it's like, wow, they're paying huge amount just to
Yeah.
apply for it too, and how much money I have saved by
True.
just doing that. And then after that, I needed like 3 years of total experience in IT
Okay.
to apply for 186 visa, which is basically PR.
Okay.
So it's the sponsorship visa, and which is PR. You have to, I mean, you can stay in Australia, and then yeah.
Yeah. So basically, just to you guys, for you to make it more summarized version. So basically, during the PY, he had to do this
Yeah.
placement placement work experience as part
experience,
of the
yeah.
PY, which is 3 months. And then during that, the company where he was working, he was using that experience to show as part of the PY, which PY organization allows that. We have helped few of our employee as well in the past.
Yep.
And then during that time, your manager get to know that okay, you are in that uncertain
Indeed.
lifestyle in Australia.
Lifestyle,
You don't know what's gonna be next,
Indeed.
right?
Yep.
And then he saw probably some potential on you. He loved you because of course you are working hard there
Yep.
to make sure you reach your maximum potential working in the environment.
Yep.
And they wanted to. They basically offer you the kind of that. Shortage visa. I think you guys can find this more information with your immigration lawyer, migration, or the consultant, whoever you have. So basically, there is such a thing in Australia that if you if company wants you, they can basically appoint you as a talent because they are such a talent are shortage in the technology or in other field as well. And they went through the process and it cost quite good money for the company, but they happy to pay for you. And then once you get that visa within 2 months, you said, that means you got 4 years of visa. What amazing, yeah? And then in order to apply for your sponsor visa, you needed to have 3 years in total work experience. So you work for one more year and you applied for the permanent residency. And how long did it take to get that permanent residency after applying?
It took like probably 5 months.
Wow, that's in 5 months. So without you realizing, basically, literally, PR came to your hand. It's all thanks to your career plan from the beginning and hard work. So guys, we also always nowadays, especially if you are international IT student based on the country. After finishing your degree, you're gonna go for the TR, temporary resident visa, and there some of you gonna get 2 years, some of you gonna get 3 years of work visa, full work right visa, right? And then based on the current rule, and so that means what you need to do is if you are IT student, you need to plan now before you finish your degree. So this is what we can advise our students. So because I have heard amazing story like you really from other people as well. How amazing it is to get the PR. Well, maybe some of your colleague, well, you studying together, probably they haven't even received the PR yet.
Indeed,
they are still rushing, stressing, and then changing the courses. So the life is so different, isn't it?
Exactly.
So guys, do this.
And the amount of money you save, it's like huge amount. It's like too much. Like people pay thousands, 10,000s for just for a 2 visa, and more than that, 15, 16,000 for PR. And I'm like, what? I have saved a lot of money just with my skills. And I was like, wow, the skills really paid off.
Exactly. Of course, you will always pay one way or other, but you need to be willing to work hard, not looking the short-term benefit. Always think about the long term. And just to quick wrap up, what we hire by student nowadays is that what's your main goal? Why you want to do it? Okay, I want to do it. We have some students saying, I want to get the job so that it helps me to get the PR. Then this will look this way. So if you work for 1 or 2 years for the company, even small to medium company, if you are really good, they will willing to sponsor you. So that means you need to be already having enough visa to work for 1 to 2 years. That means to get that job, you need to be job ready. So it's going to take you around 6 months to 8 months to become really good at the skills, and another 3-4 months gap for the finding the job. That means you need to have, like, let's say, if you are going to get only 2 years or 3 years of TR visa, that means it's better you become job ready before you finish your university.
Exactly, that's what I said. Like, it's like I started this planning thing back in 18 when I was mid masters.
Exactly.
I was
That's
doing
a
my
very right time to start.
Because that was the right time to start, because you start early, fail early, then you get back early. So it's like my thing. So it's like if I start early, I will fail early. Then if I fail early, then I will start. I mean, I can get back early. So it's like we have to be more ahead of.
You need to allow time, because I see a lot of students, what they are thinking is that I'm going to finish the study, then I'm going to look for the gaining skill. It's too late already, right? If you only want to get the skill, and then another thing what you can do is that don't worry about whether what's going to happen here. Regardless, make your skill stronger so that
Yeah,
you can
we can
survive
survive.
anywhere. Like
Yeah.
before we
Luckily,
discussed
yeah.
about you,
Yeah.
your mindset and
Yeah.
mindset,
Yeah.
my mindset really matched.
Yeah.
In 2010, when my a lot of friends were saying, I think that at that time cookery was in the hot
Hard
demand of the
demand.
PR
Okay.
list, and they say let's learn cookery, and that was not never my passion.
Yeah.
And what I was saying is that, guys, I don't know about the cookery, but I'm gonna go do my Master of Science in Computer Engineering.
Yeah.
If I become great software engineer, I would survive anywhere in the
Exactly.
world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, if Australia doesn't recognize that, maybe
Yeah.
someday
Exactly.
someone will.
Yeah.
Even if I go back to Nepal,
Yeah.
I'll
I will.
utilize that skill
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
my life better. That's
Yeah.
why I was focusing so
So
much
much.
gaining these skills.
Skills, yeah.
And you said the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like for me as well. I never care about if I get my PR, what would be my next visa, because it's like I was more focused on my skills. Like, what skills? If I build my skills, I can survive anywhere. Even if I go back to Nepal, I will survive. I mean, I will get good money. I can earn. It's all about earning, right? So
Exactly.
at the
And
end
the
of the day,
lifestyle
in
at the end.
lifestyle. So if you have skills, you can build that lifestyle anywhere. Like you can go any part of the world. You got these skills. You can um, I mean, we can write a code, build a software,
So, guys, we are here to, of course, build our
build a
career and then build the future. We definitely want to focus on that part
part
as
as
well.
well. Yeah.
But that has its own course.
Yeah.
You have to go through.
Yep.
But on the side, what else are you doing? That
Yep.
matters too,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Do something that at the end gonna go and meet the same
Exactly.
place,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only don't only focus on this and don't do anything else. I think
Yeah.
that's not gonna be
No,
good for
it's
you,
not.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Even for the PR, I'm like, you wanna at the end of the day, you wanna get good life in Australia, you wanna get settled, and you wanna get PR, but it's not gonna come itself, right? Like you have to, if you are skilled, even if you don't get PR, like you can go somewhere else and you can have a better future over there. But skill, if you don't have that skill, and you
and
are
then
just
you don't have a PR.
you
That
don't
is,
have the
you don't want
PR,
to be
that's
that
you
place.
don't wanna be in that place. It's never gonna. I mean, your life won't be very good.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that will not happen to
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah, hopefully
Okay.
it won't happen. Yeah.
So yeah, we are close to the end of the show in our discussion. So do you have any advice for anybody who wants to build their career in software industry or in big IT world
Yeah.
or cloud computing? Do you want to suggest to anyone?
Yeah, yeah, guys. So what I will say is like plan ahead. I mean, don't wait till the end. Plan ahead. When you start early, you fail early. You get up early. So it's like if you are doing bachelor's or master's, so do that planning thing and start learning. I mean, doing masters and bachelors, you are just learning, getting the degree. But I mean, if you are really hardworking or if you are building something over there, like if you are building really skills, then that's okay. But if you are not, then start. If you are doing a masters, start mid-master. From the masters, start building your skills so that once you finish a masters, you have the skills and you are able to crack a job and get into the IT world. I mean, like even if it's for
Any role,
any
yeah.
role. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one thing. And another thing is like you have to be really hardworking. You have to get out of the box. Don't just sit there and do from like go to work and come back, watch movies and sleep. Don't just look for entertainment. Entertainment is important, but it's kind of like you have to also work, think out of the box, train yourself, and then so that when you do consistently, that at the end, sometime after some time, you realize yourself like, okay, I have built lots. My skill has really sharpened, so I can utilize this and use it for for the real world. I mean, I can really, you would be able to. I mean, you will be confident enough to crack a job. I'm
True,
pretty sure.
true. And then it's like this. What we are today is the outcome of what action we have taken in
Exactly,
last
exactly.
2, 3, 4 years,
Yeah.
right? What you do today, it's gonna be the outcome of your
Yeah.
2, 3 years.
Yeah, indeed,
So we
indeed.
don't know what's gonna happen in two,
Yeah.
3 years,
Yeah.
but you can start setting up
Sure.
your right
Exactly.
path,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, and
That's true.
then if like you have done it, I have done it, then anybody
Anyone
can,
can do it. Yeah.
right, guys? This is the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
You make sure you get what you deserve, and
Yep.
then now see what you deserve. It's now your why you want to do anything, guys. Yeah. With that saying, guys, I think we are at the end of the discussion. So, is there anything that you wanted to cover in our conversation that we did not cover?
I think that's all we wanted to talk. And yeah, I think it was really good talking and sharing my experience
Yeah.
to everyone. And yeah, thank you so much for having here.
No
Yeah,
problem,
okay.
because yeah, was really valuable information you have provided
Yeah.
based on your experience, guys. Now listen to him and then see what he have done it and what he could do. Now apply that, guys, and then build your career, build your lifestyle the way you want it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and at the end, I always ask my guests, "Do you have any question for me?" and see if I can answer it.
So when is your next dented code gonna be?
Next entertainment gonna be, guys. Yeah, we just plan to move out to the heart of the technology hub of the Australia, which is Sydney, and especially in the Town Hall and Centre. That's why the dented code is moving.
Yep.
So we are planning to huge thing in next year, trying to help many IT students build their career in software
Yeah.
industry. Yeah, and we are really excited about that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, that's all I wanted to ask, and I think Prince is really doing good job and building students' future. And I think yeah, you should be thankful, everyone, if you are, if you had joined Dented Code and build your um, career, then yeah, I think it's really good to see people join. I mean, getting their dreams up. Yeah.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you for the nice word.
Yeah.
And if anybody wanna reach out to you, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I
you'll be
think
open to
yeah,
help
of course, of
whenever
course.
you are
Yeah,
available.
yeah.
How they can reach out to you,
I think you can reach out to me via LinkedIn
and
and
we'll put the LinkedIn
yeah,
name under the title
mm,
under his
yeah,
name, so
yeah,
you're gonna see throughout the video or in
yeah,
the description, guys. Yeah, don't hesitate to reach
yeah,
out to him, and also respect his time.
yeah,
Sometime he might be busy.
yeah,
Nowadays he's busy, he don't respond much, but hopefully in the future.
yeah,
All right, guys,
hopefully.
with that
Yeah,
saying, thank you for staying all the way
thank
to
you.
the end. I hope you enjoy the show. Please write down 3 things that you learned from today's podcast or our discussion. Write it in the comment for other people to read it, just in case they don't have time to go through all the videos. And also, guys, make some commitment today and then write it down in the comment saying what is your commitment and when do you want to achieve it. So this is your public announcement, so that in the future you can come back and say whether you achieved that or not, and what really did it take to achieve, and then why you failed, so that that information will be many valuable for yourself and others. And then I'd like to hear all that from you guys. Go ahead and write that down. And if you want any question you want me to ask to my future guest, please do let me know as well. So with that saying, guys, don't forget to stay connected, like, subscribe, and even share it. It will help us reach out more people. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much.